I want to live forever. I want to like be healthy,
Yep.
I wanna be strong. I want to, be there to see my kids grow up and see my kids. So that's why I kind of bought all these things and put it in his office.
Do you have certain patients that are going through the physical therapy side of things that you're like, hey, a sauna would really help you with?
We have some like chronic condition people and like chronic Lyme.
Mm-hmm.
With chronic Lyme, they do really, really well.
I always like looking at the goats, right? The greatest of all times. I think we probably all do this to a little extent of like what separates them apart. Like what are they doing that other people aren't doing?
Right. I think that's the key. It's really one of my like favorite tools over here. I keep telling my wife I want to get one from home.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, maybe you can break the one at work. Yeah.
Welcome to the Sweat Fanatic Podcast, where we talk all things sweating and anything that makes us feel better. I'm your host, Erik, the Sweat Fanatic. Today, I have my guest, Dr. Patrick Buckley, on. I've been wanting to have Dr. Patrick Buckley on for a long time. He's an awesome guy. He's a fun guy and very knowledgeable in physical therapy and wellness. He owns Dynamic Edge Wellness and is the host of the PT and Wellness Unplugged podcast on the Spreaker app. I'm looking forward to this conversation. So without further ado, this is Dr. Patrick Buckley. How are you, Patrick?
Hey, I'm doing great, Erik. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I love your podcast. So it's very informative. I listen to all the episodes. You're fun. It's entertaining. It keeps me engaged. So I appreciate you doing that and keep doing it.
Yeah, man, I love doing it. It's a little side hobby for me, but it's one of those things that I got to do more of because I do enjoy it. It's just been crazy trying to get episodes going, but I'm going to get some more in there, so it'll be good. Plus, we're going to put this one on there.
That's awesome. Perfect.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your background. Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? And what do you do now?
Yeah, so I grew up in Weymouth, Massachusetts. It's like maybe 15, 20 minutes south of Boston. I do not have a Boston accent. I think that accent's a little weird, so I got rid of that.
How'd you do it?
How did I do it? I don't know. It sounded dirty. I don't know. I didn't really want it, so I just kind of said the words how they're supposed to be said.
Yeah, I gotta do that because I have a thick Wisconsin accent.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have a couple bourbons, you'll hear me park the car. It comes out. So yeah, I grew up just south of Boston. I went to Bridgewater State University. I got my athletic training degree. Then from there, I moved on to physical therapy school, where I went to Sacred Heart University, where I graduated with my doctorate in physical therapy. And I have since opened up a PT practice, and I've been working in Fairfield County in Connecticut for almost 15 years now.
I just went to firefighting school for a couple years in paramedic school. So how many years did you have to do?
So do you want the
because that sounds
with me, or do you want like the answer of what it really takes now these days?
Well, I guess both, but it just, for somebody that didn't go through it, it's extremely intimidating. And it's just like, it just sounds like a lot of work, but it's 100% worth it in the end.
Totally worth it. It is a lot of work. The 3-year doctorate program. So you got to get your undergraduate degree. You got to get all the prerequisites done. And then you got to get accepted into a PT program, which is typically quite competitive to get into. And then you got to make it through in 3 years. So there's some programs that are a little bit longer, but the grand total for me in school was 8 years.
Awesome. I love it. So you have a physical therapy business. That's Dynamic Edge Wellness, and it's in Wilton, Connecticut, right?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, perfect. And then as you opened that business, you started to get into the wellness space, kind of the biohacking stuff, and they kind of feed off of each other. So what kind of got you into going down the wellness space, the biohacking, in addition to your physical therapy practice?
Yeah, so it was one of those things where I had an opportunity to take over a little bit more space in the building, and I said, well, what can I do that is not physical therapy? I think physical therapy is an important healthcare profession out there. And obviously I got my practice going. I have some of the best physical therapists working for me. but I said, well, what? I kept getting the same question over and over again. What else can I do? Is there anything else I can do? What's going to help me feel faster? Or, what else can I do to keep myself from getting injured? Or what can I do to make myself feel better? Right? The question coming. So I did some research to kind of figure out, well, what can we do? And that's where it kind of went down that rabbit hole of biohacking and all the wellness tools that are out there. And then my wife and I kind of got into looking into it a little bit, and we just decided to kind of do it. We rented the space. I carved out a little section for my wife, and she does her mental health counseling in this space.
Oh, nice.
Right now. And then we also do all the biohacking and wellness tools over here. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. And I think part of it also is like, I want to live forever. I want to like be healthy. Yep. I want to be strong. I want to, be there to see my kids grow up and see my kids' kids. And I want to do all that stuff. So that's why I kind of bought all these things and put it in his office for me, but I could live. But I'm just a nice enough guy to let other people.
That's perfect. I love it. Yeah. So what kind of tools do you have in there? What are kind of your favorite things that you got in there that your patients use, that you use?
Yeah. I mean, we do have the Good Health Sauna. I think it's the hybrid 2-person.
Yeah.
It's actually our hottest item, no pun intended. Everybody wants to be in that thing. The schedule for it is pretty full on a regular basis, which is great. We have a Juve red light panel, which is the one that, a lot of people talk about in the wellness industry. The Juve panel just makes a really high quality red light. We have our compression boots. We do the Normatec compressions. And then we have a whole body cryotherapy unit. And this one is straight from Finland. It's the Cadillac of all units. It's all electric.
That a boy.
No nitrogen gas. So there's no risk of nitrogen inhalation and passing out and all that stuff. So it's very safe and very effective kind of cooling device, which we love. So we have that, and then we do assisted stretching, because there's places out there all over that are popping up these stretch bars and stretch labs, and they're getting hurt because they don't know what they're doing, and maybe they don't have the training, and maybe they're just not being monitored well enough, and if you don't know what you're doing with the body, you can easily overstretch somebody. So for us, we said, well, why can't we do it? Let's do it the right way. Let's train these individuals the right way. Let's put them through the appropriate testing to make sure they know what they're doing, so when they have a client on the table, they know how to stretch them right.
That's awesome. I was going to ask you about that later, but since you brought it up, I want to get into it. So I have noticed that these stretching places have been popping up here and there and around the place. I haven't gone to one. Now, I do practice yoga quite a bit. So about 2 to 3 times a week, I'll practice yoga. Most of the time, it's going to be hot yoga because I love to sweat, obviously. And I've thought of going to a local stretch place here, but I don't know, is it worth it for me? My wife, she's a certified hot yoga instructor who's very knowledgeable about it. I guess, is it something that somebody more experienced can go to it? And what would be, I guess, what are the kind of the benefits you see from your patients from doing stretching through your business?
Yeah, so great. That's a great question, because I think that a lot of people think, oh, I do yoga, so I'm flexible, and it's 2 totally different versions of stretching. When you're stretching yourself, you're going to kind of get to a point where your body feels that stretch, and it may not allow you to push further into it. So when you're being stretched by somebody else and you are more passively laying down on a table or on the floor, it really allows the stretch to really kind of be deeper and more effective in that fashion. However, right, a lot of people think stretching is the only answer to feeling better, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not, right? It's also the strengthening component. It's the mobility component. It's making sure the nervous system is on point with everything. So it's just another tool out there. I think for most people, getting a stretch program can be very helpful for their health and wellness, and at least just feeling more comfortable when they're out, moving around or playing tennis or, doing what they need to do. I think the stretch programs really do a nice job in helping that. But it's not the only answer. It's not the only way to feel good and healthy.
Yeah.
It's huge. So you got that under your belt. Keep doing that, man.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's infrared sauna and hot yoga are probably my top two dogs that I love to go to when I need to feel my best and perform my best. So that is a great point, because there's a lot of stretches I've been doing for a long time, and I just can't get a deeper stretch where I need somebody else to assist me, where my wife, she'll push my back a little bit further or help me out and assist me and getting into a deeper stretch. So
yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's just assisted stretching. It's just being stretched farther than you can actually take your body. So for somebody who doesn't stretch at all, it's easy, right? You're stretching something real stiff. For somebody like you, we need to have somebody who can understand how the body works, understand how far these muscles can really go and how far these joints can really go safely. And then, taking you through that program is help,
Awesome. And then one thing I'm not very familiar with, I am a little bit as a paramedic in emergency situations, but that might be a totally different thing. What's up with the compression boots? What are the benefits? Why would I use that?
Yeah, those compression boots, they are lifesavers in a sense that if you go to the gym, you ever been to the gym and said you work out real hard and you get to the point where you can't even go up and down the stairs or sit down on the toilet because your hamstrings and your butt are so sore. That type of soreness, that delayed onset muscle soreness, it just settles inside your muscles, right? Your muscles are like a big sponge, and they're just they're just kind of holding on to all the byproducts of that workout and all the toxic kind of byproducts of your muscle breaking down and then having to rebuild. So when we put those boots on, it's like a squeezy massage. It starts down at your foot and it just kind of moves and it almost milks your leg and pushes all of that out of your leg and into your lymphatic system and into your bloodstream so that you can pump it out and get rid of it. I tell you what, man, the amount of change from before the compression to after the compression is just insane how people feel. Your legs feel lighter, they feel more flexible. That soreness that you had is significantly improved. So
yeah,
it allows people to actually get back to working out, get back to the gym, get back on the football field sooner and with less kind of soreness and pain. It's really awesome. If you haven't had it done, it's a snooze fest, man. You sit down, put your legs up, and snooze it out. It's great.
You got me excited to use them now. I got to find a place to use them. Maybe next time I'm out in Connecticut or Massachusetts, I'm coming by your place no matter what. Next time I'm out there,
yeah, you gotta come check us out. At least hang out for a day. I'll let you run the gamut here, and yes, feels like
awesome. And then so you got the Juve red light therapy panel. So
yeah, you got
that. You did your research because sounds like you ended up with all the top brands for what you purchased. I mean, Juve has a really good reputation.
Juve's got the great reputation. They're the Andrew Huberman. He's a big guy out there in the wellness world. He talks about it. Gary Breck is out there talking about the Juve. I mean, the Juve is one of those panels that just emits high quality. It does what it says it does. They're not playing any games with whatever red light they're throwing out there.
Which there's so many out there that I look at. I go, you're not going to get this real red light from a panel that size. That's $200. You're just not.
No, you got to spend the money to get the real deal. And we started off with just a 3-foot panel. So it's got an arm attached to the wall. So you kind of move it around. It does the trick. It gets almost the full body. You kind of get your face down to your torso, so it gets a full body. If we want to do the legs, we just kind of shift it down toward the legs. And if somebody wants to really do a full body treatment, we just book a couple back and we kind of shift around after 10 minutes, shift it for 10, and then we flip them like a burger and then do the other side.
Oh, nice. You said 10-minute sessions?
So right now we do 10 to 12 minute sessions, kind of depending on the size of what we want to work on. And but people can book kind of back-to-backs if they need to in order to get their full body.
So can you talk about the benefits that you've received or your patients have received using that red light? So kind of some things that you've noticed? Yeah,
I mean, we tend to we do this thing. I mean, you go to McDonald's, right? You order something. What are the worst they can ask you when you order cheeseburgers? You want fries with that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
When people come to PT, we're kind of always asking, hey, do you want red light with your session today? And this way we're kind of adding it into our PT session as an adjunct to what's happening. we work on the physical therapy side for their shoulder, and then we put them on that red light at the end of it. And it really just helps that kind of like process of healing speed up a little bit. And what we've noticed from a post-surgical standpoint, it really helps the inflammation and pain. And then one of the other things that we've noticed a lot is, anybody who is acutely painful, when we start putting them on that red light, it helps bring that pain and inflammation down so that we can get back to the next session so we can, get back to the exercises a little bit quicker. And I know from personal experience, I did something stupid probably like a month ago. I was cleaning out my yard. There was a big stick in the backyard. I came up with a terrible story that there was a bear attacking me, and I had to javelin that bear. I did not have to do that, but I tore my shoulder up, man. It was
oh no.
Yeah, so I've been red lighting. I get in the sauna. I do the cryotherapy. I have my physical therapist work on me. We do dry needling and cupping and all this stuff on it. And it's not 100%, but it's moving back into the position it needs to be in. So it's good.
Nice. Well, your body's in good hands if it needs to heal. So it's got somebody at the helm that knows what they're doing.
We're trying. Yeah. I don't claim to know everything about the wellness world. I'm still just fresh in it. This is, we're 2 years into the wellness side. But the physical therapy standpoint, that's our bread and butter. We've been doing that for almost 10 years now.
Okay, perfect. So then we got you have the full body cryotherapy.
Yeah.
And how long are those sessions? How long are those sessions for your patients?
So the way that our cryotherapy machine works is it's got sensors, and it senses your skin temperature. So it does a kind of like a calculation of cooling, and we set it to whatever skin temp we want to get it to. So there's 3 different modes: there's mild, there's moderate, and then there's intense.
Oh, wow.
And when we do the intense mode, our goal is to get your skin temp down to 41 degrees. And once those sensors sense that the skin is 41 degrees there, turn that fan off, but it keeps all the other ones on to try to get you uniformly cool. So it does like whichever comes first. Is it the fan turns off because the sensor senses you've gotten cold, or is it 3 minutes? It's whatever comes first. But we have some clients that love it so much they go past 3 minutes. They try to get to 5 minutes. 5 minutes is our maximum that our machine will go up to. But yeah, it's between roughly between 2 minutes and 4 minutes where people will kind of like get their most benefit. We recommend for people between 9 and 12 minutes of cryotherapy every week. Get the max benefits. So
is there a difference in benefits of the temperature that your skin gets to it, or is it just comfort wise for the patients? Do you get different benefits at different temperatures, or is it just mostly kind of what the patient can tolerate?
Yeah, it's more of a tolerate, what the client can tolerate. But I haven't found that a colder skin temp makes any difference.
Okay.
Really all about just, how intense your people want to be, right? I mean, you got people doing cold plunges for 20 minutes, and it's like, what are you doing that for?
That's just wild. There's no reason for that.
Yeah, get the skin temp down, body, figure it out, get the breathing under control, get the vagus nerve stimulation, get the mitochondrial activity, and get the shivering happening, and then that's a win, right? That's what we want to get going.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. If you've never tried whole body cryo, it's a different beast than a cold shower. I know you like to do cold showers and cold plunges.
Yep.
But it's definitely a different beast. I think it's actually easier than a cold plunge. You get to a certain point where you're kind of getting in the water and you're just like,
yeah.
I don't want to get in the water.
I hate getting in that cold water. I stand in front of it and I stare at it until I'm like, all right, let's do this thing. I think if I did have access to a full body cryotherapy machine, I would probably go that route, because I have done the one where your head sticks out of the top, and it was cool and nice, but I've always wanted to try it's like the sauna. It's like a pop-up sauna, your head sticking out of the top. I feel like my entire body should be getting the cold shock protein, or the cold and the heat absorbed into it.
Yeah, so sure. No, it's really great. And the thing is, you don't have to stare at it, right? You don't have to sit there and like, you just, once you close that door, it's just boom, it hits you, right? It's like, it's immediate. There's no thinking about it. You're just getting blasted with the cold air. So it's like, you got to try it.
How often do you use it yourself?
I use, so my typical weekly routine is I'll sauna about 80 minutes, 60 to 80 minutes a week. And then I will be in that cryo 3 times a week, roughly about 4 minutes each time. So okay. I'll get about 12 minutes in there. So
nice.
There are times that, I like in the winter when you're cold, the last thing you do is go in that cold machine, man. It makes it.
You got that right.
But on the hot days or when it starts to get a little nice and humid out there, it's a beaut. It's really, really great to get it.
And that's a good point, because I'm the same way. With the cold tub that I have in the wintertime, it's even harder for me to get into it because I don't want to be cold all day long. So what I'll do is in the wintertime, I like to use my sauna before the cold plunge. So I use the sauna and then I go into the cold plunge, and then I'll go back into the sauna just 5-10 minutes just to heat my bones up, my skin up, and so that I'm not feeling cold all day long. Now in the summer, I use the sauna and then I go to the cold plunge. I don't need to go back into it because it's hot outside.
You just kind of like gradually warm up by the heat of the sun. Yeah. And that's actually the better way to do it, is gradually warm up instead of like, back into a hot sauna. Some people do it, and the contrast is a really great kind of treatment too. We offer that. We do a fire and ice treatment here. So we put people in the sauna full blast for about 10 minutes. They go on the cryo machine for 3, and then they go back in the cryo machine for 3. So we got a couple of people that like doing that one. It's a challenge, but it's really nice.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
So you got a sauna from us, Good Health Saunas. We're about going on close to 2 years now.
Yeah, I think it's almost 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It's really one of my favorite tools over here. I keep telling my wife I want to get one for home.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, maybe you can break the one at work.
Yeah, there you go.
I might have to break this one and get a
For sure. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you remember what kind of made you go with Good Health Saunas and what kind of separated us apart from the rest? Because there's a lot of different saunas out there.
Yep.
But what kind of jumped out to you about Good Health Saunas?
The one thing that really jumped out was that independent studies that you guys had done on the wood and the actual panel, I think it was the EMF or much electromagnetic, whatever was coming off of them.
Mm-hmm.
And those studies, nobody else was as upfront with that information, and it was like a no-brainer. I was like, well, why wouldn't I go for this one? Because it's been studied, it's been checked, it's been cleared by other individuals who are, in the industry of checking wood and checking on EMF. So for me, I wanted to have the best, right? I mean, I outfitted my office with the best materials that are out there. So I only want to be able to supply my clients and my patients with the best, and that's where you guys set up. And then even when some little thing happened or some little a question came up, it was the immediate response. So it was like the customer service aspect of it was a no-brainer as well. Yeah, you guys from beginning to end, been a great deal so far.
Awesome, I love it. We're going to keep it that way.
Yeah.
So what type of patients do you do you have certain patients that are going through the physical therapy side of things that you're like, hey, a sauna would really help you with recover?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the big things we have is we have some chronic condition people and chronic Lyme. The people we put in with chronic Lyme, they do really, really well. I think it's one of those things. When you settle down into a small space for 30 minutes, kind of dedicated to yourself, it really makes you kind of center and focused on yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
In our area in Fairfield County, it's hustle and bustle. It's crazy. Everybody's in a rush all the time. And for the people who just can't take the 20, 30 minutes themselves, those are the ones that I recommend a lot to get into the sauna because it really slows them down.
Yeah.
And from a mental standpoint, it's exactly what some of these people need. So I definitely recommend that to a lot of them, and they love it. I mean, for the most part, they're all gung ho about it. They get in there, 3-4 times in a row, and then they're hooked.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. So they'll come to me and they'll ask, they'll be like, well, can I have an iPad in the sauna? Can I have my phone in it? I'm like, yeah, it would probably last 10 minutes or so, and then it will overheat. But you should really get away from that stuff.
Yeah,
because it's just.
Yep, same thing. Just get away from it.
It just comes into your own quiet, alone meditation time where you're there with your own thoughts. We don't get to be alone with our own thoughts for a lot. Almost like for me, I could go all day without being alone with my own thoughts, which is good and it's healthy. And when I do that, and when I go in my sauna, I come out, I feel a lot more rejuvenated. I feel better focus, better attention span.
Focus is huge. What I've noticed personally is I sleep, like my sleep is drastically changed. I would say I was a bad sleeper to begin with, but just the restorative sleep that I do get is just much different on the nights and the consistency of me doing the sauna. I notice my sleep is huge. And if you look at the research, sleep is like the most important thing that it's like,
yes,
if we can sleep better, we're going to heal better. We're going to think better. We're going to move better, right? Our risk of injuries are lower. Everything. If you want to take away anybody's performance, any way, shape, or form, just take away their sleep, right? Or have a baby and then not sleep.
And that's what I tell people too. I go, the number one, because a lot of people will come to me that are being they're being reactive. So maybe some health conditions are creeping up on them, and they've decided that health has now become a priority in their life. A lot of times it's people getting closer to retirement or right after retirement, and they're not only looking at a sauna, but they're looking at other things. And I always tell them, I go, hey, for me, for my own personal mental well-being, the number one top dog is sleep. Good quality sleep. Nothing affects my mood tomorrow more than the quality of sleep I got tonight.
Yep.
And then the second thing I do is sweating,
which is so important. And people don't sweat anymore. I think it's crazy because when some people start in the sauna, they don't sweat at all, right?
Yeah.
Like, in any sweat, it's like, all right, just keep doing it. Let your body sweat. Keep doing it. It'll happen. Like, don't worry about it. And then once they figure out, like, oh, my body actually has to like go through this process of adjusting and adapting to this hot, it will start sweating. And then they notice a big difference once they do get that sweat on.
Oh yeah. And it becomes addicting. There's so many people that will come to me, and it'll be a couple, and the husband wants a sauna, the wife doesn't want a sauna. And I meet them in person at a home show or a fair. And then next year at that same home show or fair, the one that didn't necessarily think they were going to use it, uses it the most.
The most. Yeah. I believe that.
Yep.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah. So does your family get in the sauna at all? Your wife, your kids?
So my wife definitely does. I have two kids. I have a 10-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old son. And it's funny because when they come to work, sometimes I got to bring them to work. They love sitting in the sauna. They go in there, they turn it on. I mean, I don't crank that thing up or do anything, crazy for them, but they get in there for a couple minutes. They just sit. And they enjoy it. And it's fun. It's funny because, I'll look around the office. Where the heck are they? And they're just sitting in the sauna together too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I think as they get older, I would love for them to make sauna a routine for them. I mean, if you look at any of the research on saunas, the more and more frequently you do it, the better and healthier you are, right?
Yeah.
All the studies show that. So the more and the sooner they start getting into a habit of sauna therapy and heat therapy, it's going to be great for them.
Yeah. The studies are black and white. So it's, like you said, it's perfect. So how do your kids play sports at all?
Yeah, they're big into soccer. Huge soccer fans.
Did they get that from you or no?
Weekend. What's that?
Did they get that from you or no?
I played a little soccer when I was growing up. I actually played football for almost 10 years of organized football.
Nice.
Yeah,
that position.
I got recruited to play in Division II, and I actually didn't end up playing because I got hurt, which led me to physical therapy.
Okay.
Traditional physical therapy story. I played strong safety, so I was just throwing my body around left and right.
That's a fun position to play.
Oh, I loved it. it. You could intercept the ball, or you could tackle. You're all over the field sacking it. You could blitz. Yeah, I mean, it was a fun position. So I enjoyed that a lot.
That's awesome.
I'll do a quick shout out to Bucks College High School, which is where I went to high school. So BC High, Ozzy Trapillo just got to the Bears. He just got drafted to the Bears this year. So
awesome.
Yeah,
what position does he play?
He's an offensive lineman.
Awesome. That's
Ozzy Trapillo's father was our coach on my high school team. So it was kind of a cool little thing to see. You know, when he was born, he was like a little kid running around the football field when he was coaching us, and now he's going to the big league.
That's pretty cool. That's fun. So when he plays when he plays my Packers, I'm gonna have to be looking out for him.
Yep. And
I'll
protecting people though.
I'll be rooting for him, so I'm not that way.
Well, Packers though, man, how are they looking this year?
Good.
Yep.
And as good as Jordan Love has shown flashes, it seems like he might be a little bit of the weak link of that offense, just because of how good that wide receiver core is, and the running back Josh Jacobs. They're really good, and Jordan Love's got a little bit of Brett Favre in him, where he'll just throw it up for grabs at certain times. And I wish he had a little bit more killer mentality like Rodgers did.
Yeah,
but
gotta learn. He'll get it. You know, I mean, it's all about developing, and you know the deal. They got to develop him up.
Yeah, and I take it you're a Patriots fan.
I am a Patriots fan through and through.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm listening to Belichick's new audiobook.
That guy's he's a weird genius, man. Because his brain works in mysterious ways, and I don't know how he thinks that way. So
yeah, but he's awesome. I always like looking at the GOATs, right? The greatest of all times: Belichick, Brady, Jordan, and I think we probably all do this to a little extent of like what separates them apart. Like what are they doing that other people aren't doing? And I think a lot of times it just comes down to they just work harder than you.
They work hard, and it's consistency, right? They just do it consistently. They don't say no when they feel like crap, right? They don't say no when you know something's bugging them. They just do it anyways, and then they just keep on doing it, right? I think that's the key. That's with anything, right? That's with exercise and working out. That's with eating healthy, right? You can't have one healthy meal and call yourself healthy, right? You got to.
Yep. Perfect. So then back to the sweating a little bit. So the one thing I tell people is to be careful about the sweating process, hydration and stuff like that. What's your hydration regimen?
So I'm a huge fan of Element. It's the hydration packets. I don't know if you've seen those.
Yeah.
What they put together is just a really tasty, no sugar hydration packet. It's got all the magnesium, potassium, sodium. It's got the right ratios that you need to have. And the other thing is they just came out with this can, the seltzer can. I don't know if you've seen those.
I think I have.
So haven't had one. Go find one. They're delicious because hot that for the summer, and it's very refreshing. But no, the elements that's my usual go-to. If I don't get that, I'm using Baja Gold salt on a lot of the food that we cook, and if I'm making stuff, I'll throw it. Like I bake bread.
Nice.
Getting down weird rabbit hole.
I love bread. I love fresh bread.
I bake all the bread for my kids. I don't like the crap that's in the bread, the ingredients that's in the bread that my kids get. I don't like a lot of the ingredients in food that's out there, so I do a lot of the cooking.
Nice.
My family to keep us as healthy as we can. We try to keep everything clean and whole foods and all that good stuff. So I'll throw like Baja Gold, which is a mineral salt. It's packed with kind of like extra minerals in there, so it gives you a little bit of extra magnesium and the potassium on top of that sodium. But yeah, that's my usual regiment is coffee. Love it. Drink.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't really put much in my coffee. I think a lot of people like to put creamers and all that junk in there. If you look at the actual ingredients on it, it's not real. It's all gross. So sometimes I'll throw salt in my coffee, or Element has like the chocolate flavored salt, which goes really well with coffee. So you get like a little mocha flavor.
I have tried that one. So I think you could use it as in a hot drink, right? Yeah, with hot water.
You can use hot water, or like I said, I pour some of it in my hot coffee, and it just makes it delicious. And salt.
The first time I ever drank an Element packet, I didn't put enough water. It wasn't. It wasn't diluted enough, so it threw me off. And then my wife started getting it and drinking it. She's like, "You're not diluting it enough. Like you can't just put it in 6 ounces, 8 ounces of water."
Oh no, you got to put like almost 32 ounces is like that ratio that I like. It's 32 ounces, ish around there. Anything less than that, it's very salty.
Yep. So I did just try a electrolyte packet called Relight, RE-LYTE. It was okay. It was decent. I mean, it probably wasn't as good as Element. but it was okay. I like to try different electrolytes just to see what hydrates.
I've tried a lot of them. We are actually a wholesale partner over here on our wellness side, so we do sell the elements.
Nice.
But no, I tried a lot of them. I think liquid IV is okay. It doesn't have enough sodium in it. Plus, it's all sugar packed, right? There's too much sugar. Liquid IV. There's a couple of that are out there that are decent.
Yeah, I did listen to a podcast where a doctor was on it, and she was talking about how you need a little bit of glucose to get the minerals in our cells, but I don't know how true that is. She seemed very reputable, but the way liquid IV is, that turns into Kool-Aid.
Yeah, that's basically what it is, Kool-Aid with some salt in it. I get it with the glucose being a little bit of a carrier for the salt, but I honestly think in our lives we're eating enough glucose and enough sugar.
Yep.
We don't add any more to our drinks.
Exactly.
You look at my office over there in our staff room. There's candy on the corner, right? Somebody brought us. Look, there's plenty of sugar around. There's no shortage of that.
Oh, you can't go into any store, gas station, retail store without having it all around you as you're checking out.
It's everywhere.
And then we wonder why we're obese.
Yeah, I mean, and that's that it's if you look at the other countries, man, that are healthier than us, they don't have it like we do. It's completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We'll kind of see what the future holds for the United States.
Yeah, hopefully we can get on the right track, like they're saying. But sure. We've heard that before.
Hey, so I want to ask a question about being a firefighter and your protocols with the sauna, and what you guys do in the firehouse.
Yeah, so we put our sauna in over 350 fire stations. As far as I know, my station was the very first one to put an infrared sauna in. I'm sure there was one out there here or there, but as far as me knowing, I didn't hear about it until our department did it. And our protocol is we get back to the station after fighting fire, and we go take a shower right away, and then we go sit in the sauna as long as we can handle it, which usually is 45 minutes to an hour. And then we get out and go take another shower. And now we don't smell like smoke for 3 days like we normally do after fighting a fire. Yeah, and there's been multiple times where I've been in the sauna at the firehouse after a fire where we'll wipe the sweat off our body, and it's just starting to turn like brownish a little bit. And and you don't see any soot on your skin. We've already showered. Now it's not like huge, like where the towel's turning black, but you do start to see some like brown marks, and it got me wondering, that's what it's pulling out, all that toxins and the chemicals that are in the smoke that absorb right into our skin, because the turnout gear that we wear, it's not there to protect us from the smoke. It's there to protect us from heat and heat alone. So that's our protocol.
No, I think that's huge. I mean, think about what you're sweating out. It's got to be, if a couch goes on fire, right? That couch is filled with chemical, like
carpets.
Oh, it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think that's a great idea. Do you know of any other like first responders that follow this protocol other than the fire department?
So all of St. Paul, Minnesota has Good Health saunas in their firehouses. So they have 16. Minneapolis Fire Department is in the process. They got 20 of ours. Same thing with Chicago Fire Department has 100 stations where they partner with Good Health saunas. Buffalo, New York, Peoria, Illinois. I could go on and on. So we got at least 350, if not a little bit more, fire stations that have our sauna in their firehouse.
I love that. And listen, I love anybody who is a first responder and has to, run into the burning building, right? And when everybody else is out, it takes a special person.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's one of those things. Growing up, my uncle was a fireman, and when I turned 18, he was like, I was looking for a job, and he's like, "You should be a fireman. It's the greatest job in the world." And I was like, "Okay, I check it out." And then I went on a ride along with him, and I was in the back of an ambulance, and he made me put on headphones like this as we were going back to the fire station after coming back from an ER, dropping a patient off. And he probably had it set up this way. I've never asked him about it, but him and his partner were talking about how it was just the greatest job in the world, and they can't believe that they're getting paid to help people and all that. And then just after that conversation, I'm like, I have to be a fireman. So
yeah, that's cool. One of my good buddies just joined a volunteer fire in one of the surrounding towns here. So he's posting all of his pictures of him with all the gear on and stuff like that. So it's cool to see him doing it.
Yep. And then my buddy, shout out to John Douglas. He's actually an extra in, you wouldn't in the show Chicago Fire. He walks on in the back or whatever. He doesn't have any lines and he never will, but he goes down there and is an extra. But he is on a department with me, and his son would come by the firehouse when he was real young. And I've been on for 18 years, and the family hangs out at the house. They go in the fire trucks, see the gear and stuff like that. And then now his son just got hired on the fire department, and they're working shift together. So
it's all in the family. I love it.
So it's cool to see how proud his father is, and to see Hunter, him actually making his dream come alive. And it's a very rewarding career. So if anybody's looking for something to do, and we have a shortage of first responders throughout the country.
Oh yeah, 100%. So,
Are you
have kids, right?
No. Animal kids.
Yep. I got an animal kid too.
Dog, cat.
Oh, getting old, man. She's 13 years old.
Yeah, what kind of
mess on her?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what do you got next? Do you plan on expanding? You're a busy guy, so you're extremely busy. Just taking care of a family in general is very rewarding, but it's a lot of work. And then operating a business like yours takes a lot of energy, time, and effort. Have you thought about expanding? Do you have plans in the future?
I have thought about it. I do have plans in the future. We're at a weird kind of sticking point in our lease here, trying to figure out what we're going to do, if we're going to keep coming, keep in the same building. So we're still trying to figure that out. I think ultimately I've been trying to hire another physical therapist for a little while. Haven't been able to find somebody that fits our team. And I'm really picky. And I think maybe that's my problem, is I'm a little too picky when it comes to hiring, but I only want to hire the best and the brightest.
Yeah.
And so we don't have, we're not just picking any old person to put in here and treat patients. So once I get my physical therapy team kind of rocking and rolling, and then I can think about kind of putting a little bit more effort into building the business and getting some more, whether it's second office or expanding this one even larger. So we'll see how it goes. But no, I definitely want to do more. And what I've come to realize is bringing wellness into a physical therapy practice has really been almost like a no-brainer for us. It's been a nice addition to kind of what we do, and patients love it. And I don't see why other PT practices, wouldn't consider doing something like this. So if anybody hears this and, wants to reach out and talk to me about it, don't be afraid. You can email me or reach out to me, and we'll talk more about it. But it's been a great addition to my PT practice.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah. All right. So if the listeners or anybody out in the New England and they want to come check out your practice, or if they just want to get in touch for you about anything, how do they contact you? Where do they find you?
Yeah, best way is jump on our website. I actually have two websites, one for our PT practice, dynamicedgept.com, and then one for our wellness, which is dynamicedgewellness.com. And you can check either one of those out. Contact us if you have any questions. You can DM me through PT and Wellness Unplugged, which is the podcast that I run. And you can find that podcast on all of those podcast sites, whether it's Spotify or, I use Audible for my podcast. I'm on there with Audible. So you can check them out. If you find the podcast, go ahead, search up PT and Wellness Unplugged, and you'll be able to find me.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, thanks for coming on, Dr. Patrick Buckley. I really appreciate it. I learned a ton from you, from listening to your podcast. So everyone needs to check out the PT and Wellness Unplugged podcast. It's very informative, it's fun, and it's very entertaining. So keep doing that. And that's it for this episode of the Sweat Fanatic Podcast. And until next time, get out there and sweat.